What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Lions video. Now, Jahlani Tavai has been a very polarizing figure in the Detroit Lions organization since he was drafted in the 2019 NFL Draft. He's a player that was selected in the second round with the 43rd overall pick in 2019, and is a player that has kind of had his ups and downs in Detroit, and is a player that going into this season, going into his third year of NFL play, may be on his last leg and may be going into his last chance to truly find a position in the NFL. Now today I'm going to talk about Jahlani Tavai. I'm going to talk about, what he's done in the past, what he did his rookie season, what he did his second season, what we can expect from him this season, the reasons that he may have succeeded or failed in the past, and whether those things are rectifiable for him to excel in the NFL in his future. Now before we get into this video and before we start talking about Jahlani Tavai in his boom or bust season, if you are new to the channel and you are enjoying the content, please consider liking the videos and subscribing to the channel. It takes 2 seconds out of you to do so. It is quick, it is free, and it is very easy to do, and you would be helping the channel out more than you could possibly know. So if you could do that, take those 2 seconds to like and subscribe. I would be incredibly appreciative for it. But with all of that being said, and without any further ado, let's get right into talking about Jahlani Tavai, the third-year linebacker, and why this season may be his last chance to make and stick with the roster.
So look at Anthony Ryder from South Lyon, Michigan, recently selected as the Lions 2020 Fan of the Year. He has a passion about sports broadcasting.
With the 112th selection in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Amon-Ra St. Brown, wide receiver, USC. One pride, baby! Yeah!
Now, Jahlani Tavai entered the NFL in the 2019 NFL Draft as he was the 43rd overall selection on the second night of the NFL Draft. The 43rd overall selection selected on night 2 of the NFL Draft. Now, he came into his rookie season with a lot of speculation. A lot of people didn't have Jahlani Tavai graded as a second-round draft pick and had him more graded as a player that was going to go in the 4th to 5th round early on day 3. And many people looked at Jahlani Tavai as one of the biggest reaches in the 2019 draft. However, Jahlani Tavai did come in his rookie season in 2019 and showed a lot of flashes that made some people second guess their analysis. He did play in 597 snaps for the Lions defense in his rookie season, totaling 58 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 3 quarterback hits, 2 sacks, a forced fumble, 2 passes defended, and a single interception. Now, is that worthy of the 43rd overall selection? I don't know. That is up for debate, and that is up to the opinions of whoever is watching and whoever wants to throw their hat in the ring for that argument. But that is not a bad rookie season for a player. If you were to tell me we were to draft a linebacker that was going to come in and play just under 600 snaps, a player that was going to get you roughly 60 tackles, a couple tackles for loss, 5 tackles for loss, 3 quarterback hits, a forced fumble, a couple sacks, an interception, a couple passes defended, I would not be upset with that production from a rookie linebacker, right? Jahlani Tavai here and there struggled. Yes, Jahlani Tavai showed some weaknesses from point to point in the NFL season, but he also showed flashes, right? He had a essentially game-winning forced fumble on the goal line in the second week of the season to see the Lions win their first game of 2019. He had a really big pick early in the Buccaneers game that eventually didn't end up doing a whole lot, but could have been a big momentum swinger, and actually was a big momentum swinger early in that game, even though it didn't ultimately end up in the Lions winning that football game. He did show flashes of success. He did show flashes of really, really good play in the NFL, even if it wasn't on a consistent basis. Right? He did make rookie mistakes, which was expected, but for every rookie mistake, he also made a big play, whether it was sacking the quarterback, forcing a fumble, or getting an interception. So he went into 2020 with still a lot of speculation, but also a few more people that were willing to believe in him. And then those believers went away really quickly. In 2020, Jahlani Tavai came in playing a few more snaps than his season prior, playing in 624 snaps this year opposed to the 597 he played his rookie season. Now, although he had a slight increase in snaps, his statistics were relatively similar. He had the same amount of tackles, coming in with just 58 tackles on the season. He had 2 tackles for loss, which is a few less than a season ago. Which was a few less than his rookie season, having just 2. He had 1 quarterback hit, being a few less than his rookie season. Did force 2 fumbles, which was an extra 1 on top of what he did his rookie year, and did actually come up with a fumble recovery, something he wasn't able to do his rookie season, but also did not have the production through the air that he had as a rookie. Now, Jahlani Tavai's 2020 season was absolutely a step back, but it's not 100% his fault. Yes, Jahlani Tavai did have some troubles. Yes, Jahlani Tavai did not play very fast, and yes, Jahlani Tavai has always been a very slow linebacker and a very slow player on the football field overall. But similarly to the players we talked about yesterday in the players that had a potential to bounce back, a lot of those players struggled because of the scheme and position that they were put in, and Jahlani Tavai is no excuse for that. Jahlani Tavai is a player that was not utilized correctly under the Matt Patricia system, which is strange because you'd think if you were to invest a player and reach down the board for a player to take him in the second round, you would at least have an idea on how to use him properly and have an idea on how to use him effectively in your defense. Matt Patricia, I guess, just didn't feel like doing that, supposedly. Now, another thing that I think really hindered Jahlani Tavai's production this year and really hurt him in his second year was the fact that Jahlani Tavai was playing at over 270 pounds as a middle linebacker. Now, again, I'm going to say this, Jahlani Tavai playing the linebacker position, a position that is needed and a position that requires you to move and be agile enough to run down and get to the edge to tackle running backs, as well as being explosive enough to shoot gaps to get tackles for loss, as well as being able to cover, move your hips, flip your hips, and change a direction very, very quickly, is not a position you want somebody playing at when they are at 270 pounds. That is the weight that Jahlani Tavai played at last year. That is heavier than our top edge rusher in Romeo Okwara. That is heavier than our top defensive lineman from a season ago. And that is only 10 pounds less than Aaron Donald, the defensive tackle. And I'm going to say this again. Jahlani Tavai, the linebacker, was playing just 10 pounds lighter than Aaron Donald, the defensive tackle. That is not acceptable if you are Matt Patricia. That is unacceptable for your head coach to mandate that a linebacker, and an off-ball linebacker at that, plays at that heavy of a weight and expects him to play up to par. It expects him to play to an NFL standard that will help the defense be successful. Jahlani Tavai had his problems, yes. Jahlani Tavai coming out of Hawaii had his problems. But if you really expected Jahlani Tavai to play at 270 pounds and be a successful linebacker, you don't truly know the game of football, right? And just like Jeff Okudah, just like Tracy Walker, just like a lot of these young players, Jahlani Tavai is going into his third year of NFL play with a new head coach, a new defensive coordinator, a new linebackers coach, a new scheme, and has actually slimmed down over 15 pounds at this point and is now at a playing weight of 245 pounds, which is far more acceptable and is actually far more common than the actual 270 that he was playing at a season ago. 245 is still a little bit on the heavier side of linebacker play, but that is a far, far improvement from the 270 that he was playing at under Matt Patricia. Now, in my opinion, Jahlani Tavai needs to improve his play this season if he wants to really cement his spot on the roster and cement his role for this Detroit Lions team. It is a now or never season, a boom or bust season for the former second round pick, and the question marks don't stop there and the troubles don't stop there. Is although the linebacking core is relatively weak this year, there is still a lot of competition there that Jahlani Tavai is going to have to fight through, right? Jamie Collins is coming back projected to be a starter, and although he struggled as well a season ago, he does still show a lot of flashes and does still play as arguably our best linebacker on the team. Fourth round selection Derek Barnes is coming out of college, obviously coming into the NFL, looking to take somebody's spot, looking to take somebody's role, and was drafted to replace somebody in the linebacking core, right? The Lions would not have drafted him if they didn't think he could be a starting player in this scheme and in this team in the very near future. And then you also have Alex Anzalone, who was brought in, who's a big, strong, fast, athletic linebacker that really brings a lot of traits that Jahlani Tavai just doesn't. While we have all these athletic linebackers playing there, Jahlani Tavai is sitting there being a linebacker that runs in the 4.8. He ran a 4.86 40-yard dash a season ago. And yes, he's slimmed down tremendously. Yes, that 40 time is at 270, but Tavai has never been a fast player. He's never been a player that is going to run down an opposing running back. He's never been a player that is really going to run and catch up to a running back in pursuit. If the running back gets past him on the first level, then he's really got no chance to recover from there. And in a defense under Aaron Glenn that seems to be prioritizing speed and athleticism, Jahlani Tavai's place in the defense seems to be disappearing very, very quickly. However, I do think there is some potential. I do think there is still a place for Jahlani Tavai on this roster. Jahlani Tavai is either going to be a special teams player because he has proven that he can play special teams pretty solidly. I believe did force a fumble on special teams. I think that's where one of his forced fumbles came from, and did have a couple really solid hits on special teams just a season ago, even while playing at a heavier weight. So worst case scenario, I do think Jahlani Tavai can make it as a special teams player and one of the better special teams players on the Detroit Lions team this year. But I will also say that Jahlani Tavai has not been all bad in his NFL career. As I said, in his rookie season, he did show a lot of flashes. In his rookie season, he did show the potential and did show some of the flashes that made some people wonder, was he actually worth a second-round pick? Was he a player that Bob Quinn may have found that nobody else saw coming? While right now that answer is likely no, you can't deny that Jahlani Tavai did show something in his rookie season. You can't deny that Jahlani Tavai has worked incredibly hard to turn his career around. Obviously losing that 15 pounds, he did everything that Matt Patricia asked him to do, and it is not his fault that Matt Patricia put him in a situation to fail. He has then since done everything that Aaron Glenn has done, everything that Dan Campbell has asked of him to do to be successful and revitalize his young NFL career. Many don't believe Jahlani Tavai is worth the third chance, and many don't believe that Jahlani Tavai is in a position where he can turn his NFL career around. However, I do want to point out that Jahlani Tavai, again, has worked very hard this offseason to improve himself and has done everything that his coaches have ever asked of him, whether it be at Hawaii, whether it be at the Detroit Lions under Matt Patricia, or whether it's been under this new regime. Jahlani Tavai has done nothing but work hard and do everything that his coaches have asked of him, even if he likely saw it coming that the 270 pounds was going to hurt him in the long run. He also has a new linebackers coach in Mark DeLone, a player that a coach that has developed a lot of linebackers over the years and is a huge upgrade over the linebacker coach that Jahlani had a season ago. They also have Aaron Glenn, the new defensive coordinator that is running a new scheme and is running a far better scheme, or is expected to run a far better scheme because it can't be worse than what Matt Patricia had. So he is an upgrade at defensive coordinator and in defensive schemes. And this offseason alone, he has shown a lot of improvements throughout OTAs and throughout minicamps that have already started to turn a couple of heads back the other way in the favor of maybe he can end up turning this thing around. With that being said, that is all I have for you guys today. That is all the information that I have about Jahlani Tavai. This year, in my opinion, is a boom or bust season. In my opinion, this is a season where Jahlani Tavai has to put up or shut up. He has to either cement his spot in the Detroit Lions organization or start packing the bags, because he will likely not get re-signed if he does not play well right now. With all that being said, that is all I have for you guys today. Let me know down in the comments, what do you think about Jahlani Tavai? Do you think he can turn this thing around? Do you think his third season can be a productive one and one in which he cements a role and a position on this team for the long-term future? Or do you think his next year, do you think his third year in the NFL will look reminiscent of his second, and he will just never end up living up to that second round selection that Bob Quinn took him with? Let me know what you guys think about him down in the comments below. I'd be very curious to know what you guys think. But with all that being said, that is all for you guys today. Thank you all so very much for watching. And until next time, and as always, go Lions.